Original is 120. After that, we increase by this amount. How many percent are we looking at? Can I get a general response? It should be 122.9, right? Original 100 plus this 22.9. Okay, so we need to have that awareness. Okay, so to answer part I, okay, the cost per cubic meters, either you use this unit or you want to use meter cube also, okay? Right? That will be 122.9%, so we know that you will be dividing by 100, okay, of your original amount, $2.61. Right? So presentation wise, okay, let's present it in this manner. Don't do any loose calculations. Okay, you need to be very clear about what you're calculating. Okay? Then you can press this in your calculator and we get about 3.20769. I'm not wrong in this exact table. Let me just go check. Yes. Okay, so if you key this in calculator, you get an exact value of 3.20769. I know that in class we have mentioned that we try to leave our answer in exact where possible. Okay? But in this case, do you think it makes sense for the answer to be exact? No, right? Because why? This is money terms. Okay? So for money terms, we shouldn't be leaving answers to exact. We should leave it to how many decimal places? 2 decimal places. Okay? That is because nearest 1 cent. So we will get 3.21. This is the nearest cent. Okay, so this is the expectation when it comes to money. Okay, in fact, in this question, they did remind you that it's supposed to be nearest cent. Okay, but it's not all the time that way. We need to realize that money should always be nearest cent. Okay, so that will be the answer for part I. Right? Then in part 2, we want to calculate the percentage increase in the cost per cubic meters from early to late 2017. Okay, this column over here is actually the early 2017. This is after the increment, this is the late 2017, by the way. Okay, we want to find out what is the percentage change when water consumption is between 0 to 40 meter cubes. Okay, so we will apply our formula. So the percentage change, I'll just write answer here. Okay, in fact, we can clearly tell that it is a percentage increase because it is from $2.10 to $2.39. So we will write percentage increase. After all, that's what the question wants as well. Okay, we will find out what is the difference, the change amount. So that will be 2.39 minus away 2.10 over the original amount. That will be 2.10 times 100%. Okay, then after that you can press the entire thing into calculator and you will get about 13.809. Okay, so notice that I leave over here truncated 5SF value. Okay, it should be taken and expected that you leave it as truncated 5SF. Don't need to put brackets truncated 5SF. Just make sure you know. Okay, then final answer. This cannot be exact, so final answer needs to be in how many significant figures? 3. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Third significant figure is 8, so therefore 13.8% is our final answer, 3SF. Okay? So let's all have the habit that we leave our intermediate answer, that means the one before our final answer, to truncated 5SF. If you have forgotten what truncated means we just chop off the remaining after 5 significant figures. No need to do any rounding off. Okay, because if you keep on rounding off, then you will get rounding off errors. Okay, because you keep on rounding up or rounding down, then you will be inaccurate. Okay, so that will be for question 1. Singapore that fell from 41,251 to 42, fell to this from 42,155. Okay, I'll give you 5 minutes to work on question 2. Make sure that you present your answers neatly. I'll get people to come up to present your answer later on. Okay, 5 minutes now. decimal number or not. Okay, if it doesn't make sense, then what should the number actually be? Should we be rounding off by rounding up, or should we be rounding down? You think about it. Okay, I'll just choose two people to come and present, one for part I and one for part 2. And we'll take you to part I board. Done. Okay. And then Trina, take you to part 2 on board. Okay, if you're still not done, then please continue working on it. What does it mean? It continued to fall by 4%. There's an increase in births, okay, in 2015, because it's the nation's birthday, people are motivated to give birth lah. Okay, because I think there was some incentive, okay, monetary incentive to actually give birth on that year, alright? So, but this itself is of no effect to the way we answer the question. Okay, then they say it continued to fall by 4% in 2017. So I illustrated the entire question in this manner. 2015 we had this number, 2016 we had this number, it continued to fall by 4%. Okay, because they say continue to fall, so that means our 100% is actually this number over here. Okay, so actually in 2017, how many percent would that be? It is 96%, right? Okay, so actually what Emmanuel has given us, I find that the working itself is a little bit lengthy, but nothing wrong with it. Okay, nothing wrong. Perfectly fine to write your answers in this way. Not sure whether people at the back can see, but what he did was that he went to find out 4% of this 41,251 is how many bulbs sell. Okay, then he found that it is 1,650.04. and he rounded it to 1,650. Okay? Then, because he knows that it's a decrease, he takes this number minus away 1,650 to find the total births. Okay? So, just to improve the presentation, to indicate statement-wise, okay, that we're finding the total births in this statement. And please don't write in a sequential manner, a continuous manner, but by multiple equal signs in one line. So if you present this way, this one should be downwards, continue over here. Okay? As I walk around, I did notice how some of you presented your answers. Okay, some of you made it neater, okay, a more elegant way of presenting, which is that we know we're looking for 96%. Okay, so total births. Maybe just to be specific also in 2017. Okay. That will be equals to 96%, so 96 over 100 times your 41251. Okay, so I do notice some of us presenting in this manner, one step itself only. Okay, and then you find that the value is 3960.04. Is it? Sorry, 600. You all get it? Sorry, let me just do a check. Oh, 0.96. Okay, do we all get it? Alright, so my question earlier on, as you were doing, was should we be rounding up or rounding down? Okay, how many of you would say round up? Okay, first of all, we recognize that our answer should be whole number, right? Because total births. Okay, see a few of you saying round up. How many of you would say round down? Okay, so what is the correct answer in this case? If you think about it, we're looking at total number of births in 2017 itself. Okay, if we were to round up, that means we add in one more birth, okay, to this number. But this number itself, okay, it is the value, okay, of the births in 2017. So not one person haven't even born yet. Okay, only give birth about 0.96 only. Imagine that, okay? So only out for 0.96 of one person only, okay? So it's not yet entirely out, okay? So at 2017, how many births are actually out already? That should be rounded down, okay? So therefore, only 39,600 births are out. Okay? So in this particular context, right, we should consider rounding down rather than rounding up. Because we round up means that already out. Okay? So we have to understand the context and the situation. Okay? We don't always round up as per the rules itself. Okay? So round down. Okay? So as per what Emmanuel has given us, okay, actually I don't know, is this value correct in the first place? 4% is 1650.04, is it? Okay. I am guessing, okay, that the problem for Emmanuel that arrived at this, okay, first of all, is the accuracy thing. He rounded off already, okay, first before calculating the final answer. So we shouldn't be rounding off in between steps. Okay, so what we could have done for Emmanuel is that we should have used 1650.04 to calculate first. And then you arrive at this value, then you will make a better decision if rounding up or rounding down. Okay, so it is actually because of premature rounding off that arrive at inaccurate answers. Okay, so I hope you're clear about that. Right? Moving on to part 2, we want to find out the percentage increase in the total cost, okay, from 2015 to 2016. So what Trina has done is to calculate the difference in cost. Okay, so this statement here is the difference in cost, so write that down. Okay, so difference in cost is this, and then this part here, move to the next line. Okay, then after that, she find that following the formula, the difference itself over the original amount, that's 100%, will give us this. So this one again, presentation wise, we write down percentage increase. Okay, so to take note of presentation, I do not want loose calculations like that. Okay, so if your homework you give me like this, I'll ask you to go back and write all the statements up. Okay, and then final answer should be 3SM. That's why it is written like that. Okay, and then the intermediate step 2.214. Let's maybe practice writing 5 significant figures in truncated. So let's put a 0 over there if you press your calculator. Okay. Right, so I hope that you are able to compare what I've corrected over here with your own work, alright, and improve your own work accordingly. Okay? Let's move on, okay? So next we look at practice now 11. Okay, maybe just to give myself some space also, the whiteboard. Okay, practice now 11, textbook page 17. Are you erasing this, yeah? Okay. So in this question, it says that the monthly cost of running a small business consists of retail space rental at $2,400. So this is an important information, rental, and the wages at $1,800 and utilities at $480. So all these are important information. It continues to say that the retail space rental and wages are decreased by 5 and 6% respectively, while utilities are increased by 7%. So this entire statement also important. Okay? I really am not sure about you, but I always find, okay, looking at words in sentences like that difficult to actually work on my maths. Right? So I will actually write down, okay, that there are 3 aspects. I summarize it: rental, wages, and utilities are the 3 things that we're looking at. Okay? So rental was $2,400, wages $1,800. And then utilities $480. Okay, we know that your rental decreased by 5%, wages decreased by 6%, utilities increased by 7%. So this itself summarizes for us the information. I find this easier for me to understand. Okay. And now I proceed with my calculations. They want us to find the percentage increase or decrease, so we are not sure yet whether is it increase or decrease in the monthly cost of business. Okay, so to solve this question, Alright, since decrease minus 5%, wages minus 6%, and then utilities plus 7%, so my answer would actually be minus 4% plus 1. Yeah. Is that correct? So therefore, there's a percentage decrease. I want you all to think, or 4%. Easy, simple like that. Because answer minus 4, so decrease 4%. Is it right? What do you think? Negative 5 minus 6 plus 7 is negative 4. What? Simple. Answer like that. Any thoughts? Yes, let's see. Okay, Enqi says you're just putting things together without any thought. I see a lot of some of your copying. I don't know whether you're making sense of what you're thinking. Yes, Jishin. Okay, Jishin says each percentage has a different base, right? So yesterday we have addressed, remember when I said that my salary, okay, increased by 5%, then later on decreased by 5%, and we agreed that it is not the same. Okay, the amount before and after is actually not the same. So, and the reason why it's not the same is because the bases are different. Okay, for the rental, the base is actually $2,400. For wages, this is the base, and for utilities, this is the base. So actually, we cannot go about calculating our percentage change just by manipulating our answers this way. Okay, so that's not correct. Right? We need to go back to this formula to calculate our percentage change to see what is the change and what is the original. Okay, and the change and the original that we're looking at is the monthly cost. So I need to add this all up to see what is the original cost and determine what is the new cost itself. So the working is definitely more than what I have oversimplified in this case. Right? So we find out, okay, what is the new rental cost? Originally it is 100%, decreased by 5%, how much would that be? How many percent is that? 95, right? So I find 95% of your $2,400. And we see that the value is 2280. Okay? And we find out what is the new wages. Originally it's 100%, decreased by 6. That means that we are looking at how many percent? 94, right? Okay, so that will actually give us $1,692. And then the new utilities cost it was previously 100%, now increased by 7%. What is the new percentage? Originally 100, now it's what? 107, right? Okay, and we find that the new utilities cost will be 513.620. Okay, so we have all these new amounts. Okay, so we can determine what is the new total cost or new monthly cost, which will be 2280 plus 1692 plus 513.60. And that would give us 4485.60. Okay? Right, I need to know what is the new monthly cost in order to find out what is the change. And the change we're looking at is based on the old or the initial or the original, depending on whatever word might use, they're all synonyms. Okay, the original monthly cost. So we calculate what is the original monthly cost. And that would give us 400 plus 1800 plus 480, which is 4680. Where I write very clear statements over each step that I am calculating. If I had not written all this, as a reader yourself, if you go back and read this 3 months down the road, okay, I'm sure you may not be able to figure out. In fact, it may take more effort and more time for you to try to figure out what is the calculation in each step. Right? This really explains why we must present our answers properly so that as a reader, okay, they know what you're calculating. Right? Okay. Any questions before I move on? I'll give you a little bit of time to copy for those that are still copying. In the meantime, let me just screenshot this. Okay, we can see that the answer that we eventually arrived at is 4.15%, which is different from this percentage decrease of 4% if you had just taken simple calculations like this. And it was rightfully pointed out by Jishin just now, okay, that we cannot do this because the bases are different. Okay, and that is what we see in this investigation activity in your textbook, page 17. Okay. So, this is your investigation activity. Okay. Although they make use of your work example 11, but it doesn't matter. We just look at practice now 11 itself. Okay, I want us to learn how to explain situations or questions like that. Okay, how do we phrase it properly and using proper mathematical terms? Okay, they ask, explain why we cannot find the change in the cost of the furniture using calculations like this, which is what I showed you just now. Okay, the very, very simplified and incorrect. Okay, so to explain this in question 1, we will say that it is because the base value of each percentage change is different. Hence, we cannot add dollars in 2017. In 2018, his salary was increased by 10%. However, in 2019, due to a financial situation, the salary decreased. So this was exactly the kind of example I was trying to give yesterday, talking about my own salary. Okay, so the question mentioned 2017 is X dollars. 2018 increased by 10%. Just trying to summarize the information given. Okay, and then in 2019, the salary decreased by 10%. Okay, so the question was asking, is this amount here the same as the original X? And explain the answer. Right, so this is something similar yesterday, just that I say that my salary was increasing 5% or decreasing 5% yesterday. Okay, so again, back to the idea of base value, right? When we increase by 10%, the base value is this one here. But when we decrease by 10%, the base value in this percentage change is actually this value over here. Okay, so to explain this question, again, we say that no, they are not the same. And that's because the base value of each 10% increment or decrease is different. Hence, his monthly salary does not return to X dollars. Since they did give arbitrary value, that means imaginary value, okay, for X dollars over here. So if you want to, you can calculate what is this value over here. So the salary, maybe let me just write higher. 2018 salary will be 10% increment, so we're looking at 110 times X dollars. And that will be 1.1x itself. And then 2019 salary will be a decrease of 10%, so 90% in 2019 of this value here, which is 1.1x. And using our calculator, 90 over 100 times 1.1. So just calculating numbers itself, we would be able to get 0.99x. Okay, so in fact, just by doing this calculation, we are able to observe that although down here increase 10% and down here decrease 10%, eventually what we're getting is even lower than our original. Do you all realize that? Okay, it is even lower. Originally was X dollars. Now it's 0.99 of it. Okay, so it is lesser by 1% from the original amount. Right? Okay, so this will be a calculation you have to go and find out. Okay. Okay, in fact yesterday I already did something similar passes, okay, with the number of people that pass in our class between 105 and 106. Right, so actually this example is something similar that we discussed yesterday already. Okay, and we understand about the idea of base values. Okay, that's important. Alright, so let's move on. I want us to turn to practice now 12. Okay. We take a snapshot of this. Okay, so practice now 12 is found in textbook page 18. Okay, so let's take a look at question 1. It says that the length of a rectangle is twice that of its breadth. If the length of the rectangle increased by 20%, while its breadth decreased by 20%, determine if any the percentage change in its parameter. Okay, so we are looking at a rectangle. Let's draw something out to understand the question. Okay, so we know that the length is twice that of its breadth. Okay, so let's give some, we cannot give a number, right? Because this question did not give you a specific length or a specific breadth. Okay, but we can make use of algebra to go in a generic direction. Okay, so the length itself is 2 times of this. That means that if my breadth is x, down here will be 2x. So what I have done is I let the original breadth be x. Then the new breadth is 2x. It is important that we define what we're using, okay, by writing statements like this. Because when I marked your homework, okay, when it came to the algebra chapter, many of you didn't write statements like that. Okay? Right? Now the question says that the length, okay, has been increased by 20% and the breadth has decreased by 20%. Okay, so let's go and find out what is the new breadth and the new, nothing not breadth, nothing length. Okay, what am I writing here? Sorry, my bad. Original length. Sorry, okay, was thinking too much, too fast. Okay, so the new length, or maybe you find new breadth first. Because it has decreased by 20%, that means currently now is how many percent? Originally is 100, right? Now decreased by 20 will be considered 80%. So 80% of x, please distinguish your x and your times. I know some of you are still writing your x like x and like a times over here. 80 over 100 is actually 0.8. Okay, I prefer to write things in decimal if I can. It will be neater that way lah. Okay. Then the new length. Length has increased by 20%. So now, originally is 100. Now it's how many percent? How many percent will it be? 120, yeah? Okay. Right, 120 over 100 is 1.2. Okay, so we now have the new breadth, new length, original breadth, original length. Okay, and but then the question wants us, please.
Can you explain to me why the length is not times 2x? I don't understand.
Oh, sorry. Thank you for pointing that out. Yes, you're right. Okay, should be times 2x. My bad. Yeah. So it's times 2x. So it's 1.2 times 2, so that's 2.4x. Thank you for correcting. Okay. So this question I was going to say just now that the percentage change that we're looking for is regarding the parameter. Okay. So in order for us to use this formula, we are supposed to be comparing parameters itself. Okay, and since this is a rectangle, we know how to find parameter, which is the sum of all sides. So the original parameter needs to be found, which is x plus 2x plus x plus 2x. Okay, some of you may be fast enough to see there is 2 times of 2x and 2 times of x. Up to you how you want to present this. Okay, but eventually we will get 6x. Then we find out what is the new parameter, which is using the new breadth and the new length. And we will get 6.4x. And therefore, the percentage change in fact, we know there is a percentage increase because the parameter is now larger than original. That will be 6.4x minus 6x over the original 6x times 100%. Okay? And at this juncture now, you might be thinking, I got this x over here, how am I going to press calculator? Okay? Now, how we can go about calculating this is that 6.4x minus 6x, we know that it is equals to 0.4x. Okay? So we can simplify the expression at the top in the numerator. We get 0.4x. And we know how to simplify fractions. Okay? Whereby in this scenario, I can divide by x on the numerator and denominator, so I can cancel out the x. And then I will completely have numbers only 0.4 over 6 times 100. That will be what I'll press in the calculator. And hence, we will get the value of 6 2/3%. So as mentioned, we try to leave our answer to exact as possible. Okay, by using our calculator, changing it into the mixed number function. Questions? Okay. So for question 2, okay, we will discuss it next time round. I want you to do question 2 as your own practice, okay, inside your notebook. Okay. So since you know how to do question 1 already, question 2, do in notebook. Okay, preferably just do it today. Then after the next lesson, we will discuss it. Okay? I expect your presentation for question 2 to be something similar to what I have done over here. Very, very clear statements. So next lesson, I will call someone out to actually show us how question 2 is being solved. Okay?